Hey, what's up, you guys? This is going to be more of a rant than an actual review. Death Before Dishonor is next week, Friday, and we literally have 0 matches. Now, we did have Mark Briscoe versus Claudio Castagnoli, and like they always say in pro wrestling, the card is always subject to change. Mark Briscoe is not medically cleared, and he cannot compete at the pay-per-view next week. And first of all, I hope he gets well. I'm not sure what happened, but hopefully he have a speedy recovery. Now, that was literally the only match announced for this pay-per-view, and it's literally a week away. So that was the only thing that would have sold people to wanna watch it anyway. Okay, you're a week away from your pay-per-view and you have nothing. And let's say if Mark didn't get injured and they only had that match, that was literally going to be their selling point at this point in time, which is absolutely insane. I don't understand why Tony Khan feels the need to pull out of his ass these last second matches for a pay-per-view. You want people to pay fucking $50 for something that you want to put in last second? I don't even know what the buy rates are for these things, but it's like you can't expect for it to be high when you're bullshitting around and giving people stuff last second. When it looks like you don't give a fuck about what you're putting on TV or for a pay-per-view, it's going to reflect in those ratings. It's going to reflect in those buy rates. So people are not going to want to buy when you're putting things on together last second. So with tonight's episode, it was decent. First of all, I want to say, whatever I'm complaining about has nothing to do with the wrestlers themselves. I think they do the very best that they possibly can working with Tony Khan. I'm pretty sure if they could have called some shots for their own, the show would be a lot better. Now, they do have a mini tournament tonight. Whoever ends up winning in the finals next Thursday will end up going against Samoa Joe for the TV title. And the first match with that tournament was Dalton Castle versus Tony Nese, and the next match was Shane Taylor versus Shawn Dean. Where the fuck did Tony get this little combination from? How does any of these 4 guys even deserve to be in this tournament? Like, there's no build and there's nothing to show why any of these guys deserve to be part of this. It's almost as if we're pulling names out of a hat, and whoever we pull out is just going to be in this tournament. That's what it felt like. It felt like nothing. So Dalton has his match with Tony Nese. Personally, I thought it would be better if Tony Nese would have taken the win. He's actually won 1 match since he's been with ROH, and everything else he's lost as far as singles matches go. I just felt like when I'm thinking about Samoa Joe, who would I rather see, Tony or Dalton? So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather see Dalton go against Samoa Joe. Dalton ends up winning the match. It was a fun match. I did enjoy it, though. Shane Taylor versus Shawn Dean. Out of those 2, I'd rather see Shane advance. The match was okay between these 2, but I knew it wasn't going to be Shawn. Shawn has been doing tag team matches with the Infantry, and he's only won 1 match since ROH has started this year. 1. So in what way would he have even deserved to be in this tournament? I have no idea. And plus, he's one of the trainers, so he's one of those guys who are looking out to just be an enhancement talent or to help build up some of these younger talent. So there's really nothing for him to win this. So Shane takes the win. So now next week we have Dalton Castle versus Shane. Whoever wins go against Samoa Joe the next fucking day at the pay-per-view. There's no build to this. There's nothing to this. Who's going to be excited about this? No one. Other than that, they don't have anything going into this pay-per-view at all. And I'm just sitting here watching the show and I'm just like, wait a minute. The show literally finished in less than an hour and 30 minutes. Tony Khan could have used some extra time to build some backstage drama to come up with at least 2 to 3 matches. He could have did something creative and pull out some matches, and unfortunately, none of that happened. You see how I'm sitting here after watching the show, and I can just think of little things that could have been done to make the show better? You mean to tell me that there's a whole locker room full of people, wrestlers and executive producers and all these people, and nobody's telling Tony Khan this? For $50 fucking dollars? And then there's those people who's in New Jersey who has paid money to be at the show. Who's gonna want to be there? At this point, nobody knows what they're going to go see. No one. And that's not good. You know, it's not good. And for whatever reason, I just really feel like one of the reasons why Tony's comfortable with doing that is because last year, we had 3 pay-per-views from ROH. No fucking show at all. But all 3 pay-per-views were absolutely amazing. And what he feels like it's no matter if there's a build or not, all the wrestlers are just going to knock it out the park like they always do. He's comfortable with that. And you can tell, because if he wasn't comfortable with that, he'd be building up these stories, building up some matches, and he's not. How do you expect people to really be invested in this? You want to tell people to spend $9.99 to buy the Honor Club? Hey, I'm one of the stupid people who's buying them. I don't have a problem because it really started off strong. And here we are at this point where it's like, bro, week 20. Well, what are we doing? You know, Tony Khan is doing exactly the same thing he does with AEW, with ROH. There's really almost no difference. This is an opportunity for him to take another promotion and make it different, and he's not. And, like, I'm so disappointed in it because it's like, holy shit. You know, you spend your money on this stuff, and you want to have a return. And what we want is a good show. And while the show is decent tonight, what is the pay-per-view going to be? We don't even have 1 match announced for the thing. It's absolutely insane. Now, we did start the show with Big Bill versus Serpentico. Serpentico did lose. But I'm liking the fact that we're seeing much more personality with Big Bill. And first of all, I have to say also, congrats to Big Bill for being sober. And he looks great compared to how he was before. He looks like he's having a good time with life, so I can definitely appreciate that. So I'm really hoping that Big Bill somewhat in the future gets a nice little push. And when I was watching the match, I kept saying, where's Prince Nana? And I forgot that the whole blind eliminator thing is supposed to be something random. Prince Nana is not even supposed to be by his side. So I guess I miss him tagging with Brian Cage. Now next we do have The Righteous and Stu Grayson with I don't even remember the guy's name. The other 3 guys that they were in the ring with. The match was okay. But at this point, the issue with the storyline is, while I do think it's entertaining what we're getting, it's something where it's like Stu Grayson has left the Dark Order. He's with the Righteous right now. They convince him to join or whatever. But what is the payoff with Stu joining the Righteous? You know, I do feel like they do have great chemistry as a trio, so I do enjoy them working together in the ring. But what's the payoff for Stu? Why the Righteous over the Dark Order? So, I don't know. We did have Evil Uno, who came out with a chair, and he's watching the match. After the match, he has a steel chair, and I'm thinking he's going to go in the ring and probably bop one of these guys upside the head with the chair. Instead, one of those jobbers that they were in the ring with, he ends up hitting one of them with the chair, and I'm just like, whoa. Okay, that's weird. Is he going to be a heel now? Because what he did is absolutely what a heel does. But I don't know. It got a little confusing. Now, we got the Dark Order. They're part of 2 storylines with AEW and ROH. So right now, I'm not really sure what the payoff is going to be with this particular storyline that's in ROH, but there has to be a payoff for why Stu Grayson would choose the Righteous. So I feel like the story has started off well, but they got to show why it's better for him. And I think that's when the story is really going to end up picking up. Next, we have Layla Hirsch versus Bambi Hall. Layla ends up taking the win, and I'm really glad that Bambi came back. She has a much longer match than her match with Julia the other night on Collision, and we got to see a little bit more of her. And she's, with her size, she's taller than Layla, but she looks like a credible opponent for Layla. So the match went a lot more smoother than I thought it would be. I would like to see more of Bambi, but I know we're only really seeing her because she's a Canadian wrestler and they're doing their whole Canada tour or whatever. But hopefully we'll see her back in the future. Layla ends up taking the win via submission. So after that was the Dalton Castle match with Tony Nese. To be completely honest, like I said, Tony Nese visually looks like the better opponent for Samoa Joe at the pay-per-view. But even though I felt like, well, if Tony would have won, how would he have earned this, to be honest? Like, how did he earn his ass being in this tournament to begin with when he's only won one match in these past 20 weeks? Dalton Castle, he works more with the boys, and he's taken a few losses with the boys. Maybe one or two singles matches I could think of from the top of my head, and he hasn't won all those either. So I just don't understand how they ended up throwing these guys into this tournament. How they end up earning it, I have no clue. It seems really, really strange to me. Then the next match was Shane Taylor and Sean Dean. Same situation too. How did these two guys earn being in this spot? I have no idea. But either way, Dalton Castle, Shane Taylor next week on ROH TV on Thursday. Whoever wins that will go against Samoa Joe. From a visual standpoint, I do think it would be better for Shane to take the win and go against Samoa Joe at the pay-per-view. Next match, we do have the Kingdom versus the Boys, and this was the most fun match for tonight. I really enjoyed how fun it was. And let me tell you, the Kingdom is doing such a great job. And while I'm there talking about tag teams, Tony, take the fucking titles off the Lucha Brothers. They have not done shit with the titles. This is what I'm saying. Like, how do you want people to be invested in this promotion when the Lucha Brothers, who are holding the ROH titles as jewelry, okay, they're not even defending it at all. And the only time they defended it was on Dynamite against Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, I think. That was it. I don't understand it. But either way, I really hope the Kingdom would be the next guys to end up taking the tag titles, because they've been putting in the work since day one. The Boys, I know they're always into that silly stuff with Dalton Castle, but they're super, super talented, and I really enjoy them in this match. Their chemistry is phenomenal. Obviously, they're brothers, they're twins. They work so well together, so I really enjoyed that. But the Kingdom end up taking the win, which I'm not surprised about. I really would like to see more of the Boys doing their thing. If they're doing trios with Dalton, that's cool too, but what I saw tonight with the Boys really, really impressed me. Now, for the main event, we had the Mogul Embassy versus Matt Sydal, Christopher Daniels, and Darius Martin. Matt was the one who chose both of his opponents because he had earlier confronted Prince Nana and Brian, and he's like, hey, I'm going to get two of my partners. We're going to go against y'all for the titles. So he picks Christopher Daniels, which is no surprise, but then he picks Darius Martin, and I felt like that felt a little bit random, because Darius is already part of a trios there with AR Fox and Action Andretti, but that's neither here or there. They have a really great match. So as far as this is another really great match. So the Kingdom and the Boys match and the main event are the ones that I'm really going to recommend if you really want to see some really great wrestling. I really enjoy this here, and I should have been patient about the whole embassy thing. I've been saying since the very beginning, like, I don't even know if things are gonna work out with the embassy, but I really enjoyed them in the ring. And as the weeks and months have gone by, they have grown so much more as a trios. And in ROH, they do have a streak. I don't remember what the streak is, how many matches or whatever. But I wish there was a little bit more of a stronger story with these guys. But either way, you really see the chemistry and how much they've grown as 6-man tag champions. So I really enjoy it. Here and there, I would like to see also Khan and Toa Leona doing singles matches too, just like how Brian is doing singles matches often. So that would be something that would also help make the other two champs look good as well. Now, I do think that Matt's team had really great chemistry. I would like to see them again, but it kind of feels a little random because Darius is already part of a team. Obviously, the Mogul Embassy, they retained the titles. So I do recommend checking this out because I think it looks great. Now, the show ends, and it wasn't even an hour and a half, and I'm just like, it's a wasted opportunity because they did not take advantage of some extra time that they could have used to just come up with some stories, some little backstage beefs or whatever. And that's what I'm saying. With having a tape show, you can manipulate things to your advantage. You can add things. You could take things out. I know Tony has taken things out of ROH before because I've not seen it, but you always know when you look online, they'll tell you what matches are taped, and then you'll see when it actually airs, some matches are taken off. So it is for whatever. But Tony, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. I'm always talking positive about both ROH and AEW. However, I'm not going to bullshit you guys when it comes to, telling the truth about what's negative as well. And it's just like, Tony, if you really want to succeed, you need to surround yourself with the best people and listen to what they're thinking. Matter of fact, ROH, they follow me on Twitter, but these bitches don't watch my videos, obviously, because then they'll be able to take some pointers and take some of things that I've been saying and applying it to their shows, and they can do much more better with ROH and AEW. And, I'm still going to support. I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if after the pay-per-view, if I'm going to keep reviewing ROH, but I'm just kind of sick of it. Tony Khan thinks that this is I don't want to say dictatorship because it almost seems like that at this point. But as far as coming up with ideas and executing those things for the fans to see, he's not doing a good job at this. And the booking is the absolute reason that if ROH or AEW would have fall under, it's because the booking has been poor. And if Tony Khan just going to think he's going to get all these deals and all this stuff from streaming services or TV channels and all that stuff by doing what he continues to do, then there's going to be a problem. Because not only would he probably get those deals, but now once he get those deals, he's going to have to uphold to giving the best that he could possibly give. And if it's what he's doing right now, then he's definitely in trouble. Guys, thanks so much for watching me rant a little bit. I really felt disappointed, not with this show, but I just feel disappointed with the pay-per-view literally being a week away and we have nothing. And at this point, I don't think I'm going to buy the pay-per-view. But thanks for watching my review, guys. I will be back tomorrow with Dynamite. Oh, not Dynamite. Rampage. You see how angry I am? Bye.